flying for business or pleasure, there are three great reasons to fly SSC. The first is because it is much more convenient than the airlines. If you've flown on an airline flight recently, you understand that the security procedures are pretty intrusive. You can't take much luggage with you. There's a lot of restrictions on what you can and can't take. Checking luggage just adds one more delay and one more opportunity for things to go awry. It can be stressful and it can take a lot of time. It is a lot nicer to fly private, even just for the reason that you can take all of your luggage with you. You have room to spread out. You can get work done on the way. You can have private conversations. Even if you take a small private plane, it's a lot like the interior that you would find in a luxury automobile. The seats are larger than airline seats. You have more leg room. Again, you can have private conversations. You can spread out, get your laptop out, and get some work done. It's much more productive and a lot nicer. And you arrive at your destination prepared for whatever it is that you need to do. Another great reason to fly SSC is because you can get there and back again faster, especially if you are going someplace that doesn't have direct flights, someplace that is maybe a local airport. We're going to do here a comparison between Delta Airlines and Special Services Corporation for a particular trip. And for this particular trip, there are some connections that you have to make if you use Delta. You leave from Greenville-Spartanburg, you have to stop in Charlotte, stop in Nashville, and then you have to take a car to get to Clarksville. It's an hour and 5 minutes. Now you had to arrive at the Greenville airport at 4:30 in the morning. What time you had to wake up in order to get to the airport at 4:30 in the morning, I have no idea, but it can't have been pleasant. Now if you take the same trip using Special Services Corporation, you can arrive at the airport at a much more civilized 7:45. You can go directly from Greenville to Clarksville. There will be a rental car waiting at the plane, and you are at the city that is your destination. So you get there at about 8:30 a.m., 8:30 local time, and you can spend the whole business day. You got there prepared, you were able to work on the way, and you're ready to work. Now that's great, but what about the cost? If you go with Delta, the tickets are cheaper. You can get tickets for 5 people for about $1,500, but you'll also have expenses for hotel rooms. For those 5 people, you will probably have to pay them some kind of overtime or travel time, and it is very unlikely that they'll be able to get back that evening, given those connections and everything else. So your team is going to arrive back in your office exhausted and grouchy. Whereas if you use Special Services Corporation, the fare is going to be more. It's going to be $5,600, but you won't have the overtime, you won't have hotel rooms, you won't have meals. They will probably be back within business hours. They'll be able to see their family, and they'll be back in the office the next day ready to work. So if you look at what you ask your team to do on a weekly basis or a monthly basis in any of the trips that they need to take, it is a lot better for turnover and morale and everything else to be as easy on your team as you possibly can. And those are costs that you need to figure in. Reason 3 is because it is safer than driving. Driving statistically is not as safe as we all think. Even though we get in our cars every day, the statistics just don't bear out the amount of risk that we're taking. Even if you take driving out of the picture, air incidents or aviation, including airlines and charter service, are both very, very safe compared to railroad, mass transit, water. Even riding an animal is safer than driving. But all of those things are definitely something that we need to think about. Here's another look at the same information. Air accidents, including general aviation, are very, very low compared to 5,500,000 car accidents. So, those incidents are very, very unlikely. Either way you go, whether you go with airlines or whether you go with charter travel. But charter travel, as we said, is much more convenient. Another reason that it's safer than flying, if you go with SSC in particular, they have received NBAA's 50-year safety award. That's a very rare privilege, and also the ARG US Gold rating, which they award only to organizations that have very strict safety procedures. The last thing, a lot of people are uncomfortable with the smaller airplanes that SSC flies, which are the Cirrus airplanes, but they actually have an excellent safety record as very safe airplanes, even on top of the statistics that we just showed you, that it's so much safer than driving. But if all else fails, the Cirrus aircraft have a parachute system that can be deployed and let you float safely to the ground. Now, this is the whole plane floats safely to the ground. This is the most amazing thing. But it is so unlikely that you would ever use that it's almost not worth mentioning. But it's kind of a cool feature, and it makes a lot of people feel better. So that's excellent. Another thing that makes you feel safe about SSC is you can get to know the pilots. They're all great guys. They have families too that they want to get home to. They are not keeping the ridiculous schedules that you hear about, that airline pilots have to commute and fly and commute and fly, and they sleep on couches in airport lounges and things. The guys at SSC are very safe pilots. So flying with Special Services Corporation, there really are excellent reasons, and we've outlined 3 of them for you. It's so much more convenient, it's so much faster, and it's so much safer. So go ahead and give SSC a call and talk with one of the guys. The number is 866-242-3383, and tell them about your trip and let them know what you want to do. They'll find a way to make it safe, convenient, and affordable for you.